All right. Hey, folks. This is going to be a replay of video I made last week. I think it's safe to say this video was misunderstood by a fairly large portion of the audience. And there are a couple of consequences to people misunderstanding things. The first one is you think I'm saying something other than what I'm actually saying. The second one is that you lose the actual message. It was a very important message. It was about effort. It was about signaling. And that was lost in the shuffle because it just seemed like people were misunderstanding it. And I think it's fine to just play it back. When I was a school teacher, if I found that every now and again, let's say the class wasn't quite getting what I was saying, let's say the delivery wasn't on point, or it was just a very nuanced, complicated topic, and I could just tell people weren't getting it, then I would stop the class, reaffirm the knowledge, reaffirm the learning, get everyone back on track, because you don't want people to be just lost with what you're saying. So let's play it back, and I'm going to keep this nice and concise. And also I'm going to timestamp things relative to the previous video so you can refer back to the other video and have a look at what I'm saying. Because I think sometimes what happens is people go into a video with a preconceived notion of what they think I'm going to say. And then over the course of the video, they're just looking for things to back that up. You want to correct that because I don't think there was anything particularly controversial in the last video. It was supposed to be a video about mindset, about effort. It was not quite what people thought it was. So in the previous video, at 0 minutes and 41 seconds, I start off with saying, if somebody was really ill, there is not going to be a question about whether you go to the gym or not. You stay home, you rest, you recover, you don't infect others. There would be no question. I said that quite literally within the first minute. And within the second minute, I reinforce that point and I say again, and I quote, if you were truly ill, there would be no question you would skip the gym. So within the first 2 minutes, I've stated twice that if you are actually ill, you do not go to the gym. Now, the point of the video going into 2 minutes and 39 seconds was that when people are asking me this question, I need to look a little bit deeper into what they're actually asking and the reasons why they're asking to skip the gym. This was the point. This was the actual message. There's a case of signaling because a lot of times people aren't feeling ill. And as I said, once again, twice within the first 2 minutes, if they are feeling ill, there would be no question. They would just skip the gym. So the reason I find that a lot of people are asking this question is they're not actually ill. They're not actually ill. They are simply just tired through what is the grind of everyday life. They're feeling a bit down. They're feeling a bit tired. They're looking for reasons to skip the gym. That is what the crux of the video is. So I've been in this video for 2 or 3 minutes now, okay? Just making that point very clear from the beginning. I'm just going to reinforce that point once again. If somebody is actually ill, there's no question they stay home. The point of that video was not to question that. The point of the video was not to say go to the gym and spread your germs. The point of the video was to look beyond the surface of what people are asking and why they're asking it. Because if somebody asks me in the comments online they're saying, look, I'm feeling a bit run down, maybe I'm coming down with something, a lot of times they're not coming down with anything. They're just tired with life. Maybe their diet's not particularly great, so they're tired. Maybe they're not very regular at the gym, so they're tired. Maybe they're not sleeping very well, so they're tired. Most people walk around in a perpetually tired state. I know that. There are people who I know who are my age who look like death now because they don't have a routine in place. They're always just down and sad and depressed and just look awful because they don't have a routine in place. And that compounds itself in a negative spiral. So that was the point of the video. Now, moving on, at 4 minutes and 28 seconds, I started to talk about the traits of successful dedicated lifters. And that is, with successful dedicated lifters, they are always looking to do more. You tell them to pull back, they do more. With less dedicated and less successful lifters, it's the opposite. And this is the crux of the video. It was a mindset video. It wasn't a medical video at all. It was a mindset one. This is that if you are less dedicated to all areas of training in life, you're going to be looking for excuses. And if you're just feeling a little bit run down, which happens to all of us, you will be looking for that excuse to skip the gym and asking people like me to say, hey, can I get permission to just skip the gym? I'm not feeling a bit off today. I don't know what off means in the comments, or if somebody DMs me, I'm not their doctor. I don't know their medical diagnosis. Off most of the time just means they're feeling a little bit run down because they're in this spiral of skipping the gym whenever they feel a bit tired, skipping their diet, skipping their sleep. Of course, they're going to feel like crap. You guys get what I'm saying now? It's a mindset video. It wasn't anything about going to the gym when you're ill. And all of this was time-stamped, and all this was specifically said. But again, I think if people are going in with an impression of what the video is supposed to be about, they're just going to find things across the video to get more and more angry about. So at 6 minutes and 28 seconds, I say it's a signaling issue. It builds momentum, either positive or negative. If you're the kind of guy who's not going to let things get in his way, whether that's diet or sleep or cardio or training, it just becomes a positive momentum, because all those things, they make you feel better. This is the great thing about lifting and bodybuilding and powerlifting, whatever your gig is. The more you do it, the better it makes you feel. The more you want to do things, the more energy you have, the better things get. It's a positive momentum. So a lot of times for these guys who just aren't dedicated on that hamster wheel of positive momentum, they're on a negative spiral. Their training is crap. They're constantly skipping it. And all of that leads to a negative spiral downwards, which makes them more tired and more likely to skip the gym. That is the message. And I think an extension of those kind of people is they will build up a library of excuses to support their position. It'll all be the trope of, yeah, I work, kids, job, stress, all that kind of stuff. There'll always be an excuse to support their position because they've already decided they're on this negative spiral downwards. Whereas what I was trying to get you guys to understand is, for the most part, if you're just feeling a bit off and it's not an illness, get to the gym because it will support the lifestyle. It will build that positive momentum. That's what it's about. But again, guys, I ended that video on 11 minutes and 2 seconds by once again reinforcing the point that if you are genuinely ill, you're not at the gym. There's no question about it. What I'm talking about here is this gray zone where people aren't actually ill. They're just tired and run down because they have shit lifestyles. And the more you skip the things you're supposed to be doing, the worse that gets. So hopefully that kind of cleared up the misunderstandings, because there were some misunderstandings in the comments. I will say, in terms of the misunderstandings, it was mostly good guys who just didn't get the message. There were a lot of the regulars there, and I appreciate all your comments because it does help the algorithm. There were a few examples of guys who were getting very angry and really not wanting to understand. There was one guy who left 8 comments over the course of 8 hours, all misunderstanding the point and getting very angry and harassing people in the comments. You are blocked. Okay, if you want to discuss that, feel free to email me, but that type of behavior just isn't on. You misunderstand 2 minutes of a video and then spend 8 hours getting angry about it. Like, you need help, bro. And you need to really look at yourself and look at your priorities in life, because that is not cool at all. But the majority of the guys were just good guys who kind of misunderstood. All right, folks, I'm going to call it there.